Oh, okay. So we're on air. Yay, we did it. Only took me a week and a half to figure it out. Okay, so hi everyone. If anyone's watching, I'm Christina. This is my podcast, Christina's Voce, and we're talking to Elena of Forwinesake, and we're just going to interrogate her on everything she knows about what she does. You're in New York right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How is it right now? Is it cold?
Yeah, actually, it's getting pretty cold, and we already had our first snowfall
Oh.
2 days ago. Yeah.
So on a scale from 1 to Moscow, how cold is it?
Um, on the scale from 1 to 10, maybe 5.
Oh, okay. That's not bad. I
It's
went
kind of
there
humid
in.
here. That's
It's
why like
humid?
you feel. Yeah, in New York, in New York, it's humid. So like you feel that if it's like 0, you feel it. It feels like minus. What is it in Fahrenheit? I've been living there for I don't know how many years, but
Yeah, I don't even
don't
know.
use.
I have no idea. It's not even cold here, so I don't know anything under 70 right now.
Yeah, I should ask Alexa probably. She's about the weather forecast.
Yeah, I think I went there in springtime. I went there in March or something. To me, that was really cold. It was really cold in March. I don't know if that's normal.
For New York, it's normal. Like there is no spring, I would say, and the winter
Oh,
comes usually like 1 month later than in other parts where there's winter. So basically, it gets cold in January, February, and then March. Still cold, and then suddenly by the end of May, maybe on the middle of May, summer comes. So basically, there's no spring. It's just goes directly from winter to summer, pretty much,
yeah, that's crazy.
with a
Can't do
short period of
that.
rain.
Short period of rain.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's raining here too, but I still go to the
yeah,
beach.
there's ocean.
Yeah, I
Weather
should.
changes like crazy.
Yeah, like every 30 minutes or something. So how long have you been in New York now?
It's my third year.
Oh, okay. Third year. And so have you had a chance to explore the wine scene over there?
This is my job. This is what I'm doing all the time on a daily basis.
Yeah. I don't actually hear, I mean, I'm not really big on wine, but when I think about wine, since I'm from California, I don't think of New York at all. Like, I think of Napa, Sonoma Valley, even like down the street from my house are vineyards, but I do not think of New York at all.
Actually, New York is one of the biggest wine states after California. Yeah, I guess it's on the second or on the third place. And I had a chance last year to kind of wine tasting. They was focused specifically on New York State wines. So there are a lot of wineries here, about 400 only in Long Island. Finger Lakes is another subregion. Long Island, Finger Lakes. Those are main regions um, where vineyards are, and there's a lot of good wine. Um, I was very surprised, but especially white wine, in my opinion, is really great. And the wine industry here, there's still a lot of wine coming from Europe, from California, and I would say, surprisingly, New York State wine is not that popular here inside the state because I think not so many people are familiar with the region. Um, and Also in terms of price point, there's not so much difference where which wine you buy, like from California, which is more known definitely, or European wine, which is even cheaper. So maybe this is one of the reasons I don't really um, know a lot about New York State wine, but the quality is great.
Hmm. Is it a new industry or why is it less popular than like wines from Napa? Is it Yeah, is it like a new thing, or is it just too niche, or is it too, why didn't it spread out? I mean, like even people in Europe know about Napa Valley, but what's the problem with not the problem, but why don't people know about New York wine?
You mean why people around the world don't know about New York State wine or what? Or local people?
Yeah, or even in the US, like other like I totally no idea. I mean, maybe better people know, but it's just not a thing that I think about.
First reason I think is that the volume of like the production is not that big, so they um, import wine, they export wine actually. I think most of the wine is consumed locally. Secondly, as I mentioned, price point, it's quite expensive, I would say.
Oh.
Um, yeah, so I don't really know like why would somebody from Italy order wine from New York State.
Hmm.
It's still Europeans curious about American wine, but they're very loyal to their own production, to their own wine, and they might get something from California or Oregon, maybe New York State. If you bring it with you, like maybe they would be interested. They would be interested, but not like they would go online or order. No, I don't think so.
Hmm. Okay. Did you have a
So
favorite
main
wine out there?
reason is the volume. Second reason is price. What else? Maybe there's not enough marketing, not enough
Oh.
advertising. Um, and I would say it's relatively the industry here is relatively new in comparison with Europe, of course. Yeah, and another thing about internal consumption, the regulation is very different, differs from state to state. So, for example, New York State, New York wineries have an advantage because if you live in New York State, you can order directly from the winery. So
Hmm.
they don't have to work with a middleman, they don't have to work with distributors. Um, Whereas if they want to get to another state, they must work with distributors who have a license um, to sell wine in different states.
Hmm.
They can't send directly wine to other states. So there are
Yeah.
many different reasons, I would say.
Hmm. Okay. But you like New York wine.
Yeah, I love the wine. Maybe, of course, not all the producers. Yeah, but I tried many good wines.
Hmm.
I have
Is it
actually a
any?
blog post about it on my website, forwinesake.com, where kind of not really rated, but just gave an overview of producers I liked after I visited wine tasting.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. And I was
Local
looking at your.
restaurants, local restaurants in New York also trying to support local wine industry, and here and there you will always see one or another local wine producer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wondered if it was harder for local producers to get their wine in there since they have such a. I mean, New York's culture has such strong roots in Italy. I wondered if that was like a big competition for them.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, yes, there is competition, of course, but um, I don't think it's really has anything to do with that. It's just I don't know. I guess they sell most of the wine through clubs, through maybe um, their own like tasting wine tasting rooms, and the restaurants, of course, and those people who are curious enough, they usually are eager to try something new, and also it depends a lot on a wine person works in restaurants. So if the wine list is built specifically on, I don't know, if the wine list has some local wine and the wine person sommelier or even like knowledgeable um, waiters know something about this wine and like it, they're most likely going to suggest customers to try a local wine.
Hmm. Nice. Probably should have tried some when I was over there with you. Or not me. I don't drink, but you have a really good palate, so it would have been nice to watch you taste and explain the wine to me.
Hmm.
You did,
You want to do it
yeah.
now?
Do you have wine with you?
Yeah, I actually have a little bit in my fridge right now.
Yeah, go for it if you want to loosen up.
Leftovers from yesterday. Good idea.
So, just for some background, I've known Elena for since 2012 or 13 or something, and we did a program together. And she really liked wine, and I prefer food as an industry, but we used to have tasting classes together. And since I don't drink, it's always drinking and spitting. And I remember we'd have to write notes, and for me, it was really hard. But then recently, me and Elena, we met up in Napa, and we went tasting, and she was like amazing at it, like spot on. And even the person who was facilitating the tasting was just like, yeah, yeah, those all those things are true. Like everyone was just holding their wine, like waiting to hear what she had to say. So I think your palate has gotten way better since the last time we were tasting. I mean, I don't mean Napa, but I mean like in Italy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, comes with practice, you know. Everything comes with
As all alcoholics say. Just kidding. So what are you drinking?
So I have here a really nice bottle of Merlot from Chile.
Hmm.
And this wine, my husband bought this wine, and I would say like Merlot is usually considered for beginners, so I don't think I would buy Merlot. Although in New York State, actually, Merlot is one of the major grapes, and wine is pretty good. I just myself, like, I'm not really a big fan of Merlot because to me it doesn't have enough like structure. It's low tannins. But on the other hand, it's pretty easy to drink and it's just delicious. So I also had a perception recently that in general, Chilean wine in the United States is usually mediocre quality. So it's
Hmm.
not easy to find really good wine. And I was very surprised with this one. So it's a sustainably dry farmed. Um,
Hmm.
I think they mean by this that the water,
Oh, sorry, you're breaking up. Can you say that part again?
um, the thing at the back end of that, um, the wine is sustainably dry farmed, and they say that it's because they use less water, so that almost never water their vineyards. Um, I guess this is how they understand like sustainability. I mean, it's fair point. So they use less resources.
Oh, I
Um,
see. I never heard of dry farming. That's the first time.
Usually it's dry. I mean, for example, in Europe, winemakers, the farmers, they don't really use any water. Like there is no irrigation or anything like that. But if we talk about New World, if we talk about South America, like Chile, Argentina, and even California in some places, um, they use a lot of water to water their plants. Otherwise,
Oh,
their vineyards won't survive. Um, So, and also have a little thing here. You see? Can you see that?
yeah.
It's written Vinhood here. I will tell you about it later. But this thing is very useful actually. So if you're um, afraid that you like can't pour wine properly, so just use this, and then you won't lose any drop. So I
Great.
also have a nice glass here. Glass is also very important when you drink wine. Not necessarily. the most important thing is the shape. But it has to be like a tube, a little more narrow at the end here. So it kind of holds the aroma. Whereas if you have like a fancy glass which has a shape like this, just open on top of it, it's not really convenient. I mean, maybe it's fine for drinking, but it's basically pretty much like listening opera in wearing earpads, so you won't sense anything. Maybe taste them, but not any aromas. So I brew wine now. All that. I'm going to music concerts afterwards. Kind of want to
Wait,
choose harp.
you're not using that little thing, or what's that little thing for? The
The
little
hoop.
like, uh-huh.
The hoop. Yeah, I don't use it because I'm used to pouring wine, but I'm using it. I don't have to use it. So basically, you pour wine, and you see what I do. I just turn a little bit the bowl,
Uh-huh.
preventing wine drops going on.
Oh, that's what it's for.
Yeah. So basically, I do this movement.
Got
That's
it.
it. If you don't want to do that, or you don't know that, you just use the hood. So the drops, if there are any drops, they just go down to the hood.
Oh, okay.
So first thing I do with wine, I look at the color. So in my case, very intense ruby red.
Can you hold it up a little more? I can only see the glass. Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So what it tells me, the wine is pretty opaque, which means it's like the color segment is very concentrated. You don't really see the bottom. You don't see the stem through the wine. To me, it's a sign of the sign of the age of wine. So I would say color is still concentrated. So probably it's a young wine. But it also sometimes also has to do with the grape variety. Some grapes they just naturally have more color in it. Then I will swill the glass. So the aroma kind of opens. And if you don't know how to swirl, don't be afraid. Just put it down to the table and let me show you.
Yeah.
See what I'm doing? Can you see the table?
Oh, yeah. I can see it. I can see the table and the glass and the wine.
Yeah. So just making little circles. Honestly. What else I see? Some people call this drops inside the glass tears. Others call it legs. But what it tells me something about the body. It tells me about the structure. Whether it's like, just think about milk, for example. If the milk has zero fat, it's usually kind of waterish. And so the drops gonna drop very fast. If milk has more fat in it, it has like more oily structure, so the drop's gonna go slowly a little bit. It's not easy to see, but if you for example compare to different wines of different structure, you will see the difference.
Oh,
What
okay.
else? Also the legs, if there are many of them, it also tells me about the alcohol. What's the percentage of alcohol? Usually wine is like red wine in general is like 13.5% of alcohol. If I see a lot of legs here, I would assume that it's probably above than 13.5, probably 14 or 14
Oh,
and a half. Will be
so
more alcohol.
if there's more legs, it's more alcohol. Less legs, less alcohol. Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Hmm. So you can do that also with white wine. It's the same.
yeah, pretty much yes.
Oh,
So it tells you about the texture of wine and tells you about alcohol. But it's also kind of assumption, you know, there are always exceptions, and you can't tell 100% if it's like 14.5% or 13.5. Those are just assumptions. Like I look at a wine, I smell it, I taste it, and everyone is different. Everyone has different palates, different perception of like senses. So it's fine. I actually came across um, with a very interesting thought. One of the wine critics, she refused giving wine notes because she says it doesn't make sense because everyone has different perception and
yeah,
everyone is different. So I partly agree with her actually. About general information about wine in terms of structure, in terms of body, and um, like complexity of wine or quality of wine. But not everyone, in terms of flavor, for example, it's very
yeah.
difficult.
Hmm.
Remember one of our wine tastings in Italy? Um, by that time, we were like very beginners, and we like to compare our flavors with each other. And I remember somebody felt like meteor almost, others felt like leather, others
Yeah.
felt. So it was just. It makes to me it makes a lot of sense. So next step, after I looked at the color and the legs, I swirl it again, and put my nose inside.
Hmm.
Give it a first nose, let's say. Barrel people can recognize more than 3 or 4 different aromas.
Hmm.
Also, it depends on wine itself. So if it's like complex wine or it's just simple, easy drinking wine. So of course, if it's simple wine that has never been in oak or just very young, so probably you won't recognize many different things in it.
Hmm.
So here I feel a lot of black currant, a lot, just like a
Oh, black currant. Uh-huh.
yeah, like a fountain of black currant, plum, like red
Hmm.
plum. So this bottle has been opened already. I opened it yesterday and
Hmm.
sit in the fridge for a night. But still, so the wine. Have you heard? Sometimes people say, like wine people say, "Oh, it needs to breathe a little
Yeah.
bit."
Hmm.
So here we're talking about um, when somebody says it has to breathe, it means that it needs to just be the bottle has to be open for a while, or you pour wine and just leave it for a while in your glass. So literally, wine has to breathe. So it opens its aromas, and it's also it changes over time. If you wait, for example, 5 minutes, wine will change a little bit.
Hmm. But
Yeah,
is
you
one
will.
day too long?
No, for this wine, it's fine. I mean, for most of the wine, one day is nothing, especially if you put it
Hmm.
in the fridge. I'm not drinking it right now because, first of all, I just got it from the fridge, so I wanted to smell a little warmer. Um, that's why. But it was open since yesterday. It has been open since yesterday. It's already, open. It's just about temperature.
Hmm. Yeah, I know some people who, when they buy wine, they just heard they're supposed to store it somewhere cool, so they just put everything in the refrigerator. And I'm like, no. Like even the refrigerator is sometimes too cold for white wine, right? To drink it right away.
No, I think for white wine it's fine. It depends what kind of white wine it is. If it's fresh, zesty style of wine, it's fine. So just think about like water with lemon, like something very refreshing, mineral. It has to be cold. The
Yeah.
colder the better. If we're talking
Oh.
about white wine, which is more serious, has some time in oak, like imagine aged Chardonnay, for example,
Yeah.
kind of like buttery wine and very flavorful. You don't want it to be very cold because if
Hmm.
it's cold, it's kind of close. You have to just take it out from the fridge and wait a little bit until it gets a little warmer. Um, the same is true for red wine. I don't know. I like to drink Lambrusco. It's easy. It's Frizzante, so it has to be chilled. Where we're talking about like young, easy to drink wines like Beaujolais, for example, Sensor. And also very nice if it's chilled a little bit. Not like very cold, but if you put it for 20, 30 minutes, fridge will be fine. So this one I wouldn't chill a lot. So I wouldn't because it's pretty big body and pretty complex wine. So what else do I feel? And a lot of earthy aromas, leather, like animalistic notes. I
Oh.
could tell, even though I know that Merlot is low in tannins, I could imagine eating steak and drinking this wine.
Hmm.
Although maybe it's not a really not a perfect pairing because again, lack of tannins. So very interesting bouquet. A little bit of food notes. So, I'm pretty sure it's got some time in oak barrel.
Hmm.
Yeah, here it says 12 month French oak barrels.
Hmm.
So even though Merlot is kind of like
Sorry, can you say that again? It cut out.
Merlot in general considered very fruity wine, but because it's spent some time in oak, it became more complex because like the wine takes tannins, takes some aromas from the barrels, so, and its bouquet transforms, becomes like more complex and intriguing, let's say. Um, yeah, it's pretty rich and rich, lush, I don't know, complex wine.
Hmm.
Let's give it a sip. No, I wouldn't say it lacks tannins.
It lacks tannins.
I wouldn't say that. So it has
Oh,
some
it does.
pretty good amount of it. Do I have to explain what tannins are?
Maybe people know. Like whenever, like if someone's not a wine drinker and I explain tannins to them, I just think of it as like the taste you feel when you drink tea, like that, like mm,
Yeah, well,
dry,
compared with
bitter.
imagine like very heavy tea, or imagine just
Hmm.
taking a tea bag and put it into your mouth. You would have like this kind of astringent, tart um, feeling sensation in your mouth. So those are
Hmm.
tannins. And tannins, they're little things, compounds uh, that the wine takes from grape skin, seeds,
Oh, that's what it's
and
from.
whatever comes to. And the second way is to get it from barrels. That's why usually wine which is aged in oak is more tonic the one than fresh one that hasn't been aged enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you explain your what's it called, like a slurping method for taste? A lot of people don't do that.
Okay, yeah. So I did this.
Yeah.
I was trying to get some air again to help the wine to breathe more.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow exaggerate the sensation in my mouth, and then I try to cover every part of my mouth with wine, so my tongue
Oh.
feel acidity, tannins, everything. So, for example, if we're talking, if you drink wine, pay attention what you feel. If you, I mean, when you sip wine, um, for example, if you have like tickling sensation on tip of your tongue, so it means it probably happens when wine is a little sweet. Then you can feel acidity if you have like waterish sensation on the sides of your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you feel like a little bitter sensation at the back of your tongue, those are tannins.
So back of my tongue is tannins,
Yeah.
watery on the side is acidic,
Acidity.
and something tingling in the front is sweetness.
Sweet.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I think so.
Uh-huh.
I don't really think about this
It's
stuff
just
like all the
natural.
time.
Oh, I already know. It's
But
natural.
it might be helpful at the very beginning. So basically, what I'm trying to figure out when I sip wine, I want to know how tonic it is, and I want to know there's something about acidity, whether it has enough acidity, um, and whether it is like well-rounded, balanced wine in general.
Hmm.
So this wine is the acidity is great, very lovely acidity. Um, Tannins, as I said, are pretty low, but they still are. Overall, very balanced wine,
Hmm.
and I would say it's close to full body, so like medium plus
Mm-hmm.
body. Another thing, when I swallow the wine, I'm trying to exhale through my nose.
Hmm.
It's called a olfactory method.
It's called
So
what?
you kind of olfactory method because we taste wine not only with our mouth but also with our nose. Like nose and mouth are connected. And so when you swallow the wine, um, you exhale, breathe out from your nose.
Hmm.
This way, you can sense better aromas,
Mm-hmm.
like notes which are in the wine. Yeah, nothing new to me. Pretty much the same same aromas that I mentioned at the beginning. So maybe more cherry now, like wild cherry, like very black cherry. How you call it? I don't know.
Yeah, black
Little
cherry. Mm-hmm.
black cherry, a lot of black currant. There's some earthiness in this. A little bit of wood. Um, very very nice acidity. Yeah. So when I talk about acidity, if it's a nice acidity, if wine is acidic enough, to me it means that wine is really gastronomic. Um,
Hmm.
Acidic wine go very well with food, especially with
Okay.
like protein. So when you think about red wine, like this,
Sorry, especially with what?
uh, um, with
You said it
red
goes.
with meat, basically
Oh,
meat.
with me. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think so. I couldn't hear. Yeah.
So this one I would definitely pair with that's the last thing um, I think about when analyzing wine. I always think, what would I pair it with? And in this case, acidity is very important, as I mentioned, because let's say I pair this wine with steak, with meat, or maybe duck meat, whatever. Um, and it has a lot of protein. It has fat. Meat has fat. Meat has protein. And what acidity does is pretty much just you mm, use lemon when you eat salmon. You
Yeah.
put some lemon drops on top.
Mm-hmm.
Lemon is very acidic, and salmon is very fat. You're basically trying to dilute the fattiness.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, I put lemon on
So
everything, but
this
yeah.
is the idea of acidity in wine. It does the same thing.
Hmm.
In tannic wine, they also help to um, like cut through proteins, they cut through fat, and help you have like very balanced sensation in your mouth if you um, eat meat, for example.
Hmm.
So definitely pair this one with nice duck breast with maybe with like a berry sauce. I recently had really nice dish with like a dark duck meat with raspberry sauce.
Oh.
And another thing what I mm, pay attention to when trying to pair wine with food is also compatibility of flavors. It has a lot of fruits in it, a lot of berries,
Hmm.
and that's why I mentioned like duck meat with let's say raspberry sauce. Um, and not only this wine would pair well with meat, but also with sauce.
Hmm.
I'm trying to find can be also like if you drink white and I don't know having fish with some white sauce with some herbs or spices, herbs. Um, the best way is to not the best way. One of the ways to figure out which wine would work better with food or not with this dish would be think about same um, same herbs. Let's say
Hmm.
you use a little bit of rosemary and maybe a steak, where you put a little bit of eel with the salmon. So you probably have to look for wine which has some herbal aromas, maybe similar, that would
Hmm.
work. Could imagine working together, you know?
What kind of herbal aromas would be in wine? I can't think of any. I can't because when I think of herbs, I always think of like very herby, like oregano or rosemary or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, oregano, rosemary can be like Provence herbs.
Oh,
Can be what else? Mint in white wine.
oh, mint. Yeah, that's true. Something
What else?
light.
Uh, Basil. Yes. uh,
Basil. Uh huh.
yeah, actually,
Maybe.
I always advise beginners to use aroma wheel. If you Google aroma wheel, wine aroma wheel, um, you will see that the wheel is divided into different sections. For example, spices or wooden aromas or stone fruits or citrus or herb. So it just helps you mentally remember what are the options. And when you taste wine, when you're trying to figure out what are the aromas you feel, you keep this wheel in mind and think about, oh, is there any spices here? Probably a little bit of white pepper or
Hmm.
nutmeg. If there's any wooden notes like vanilla or any like toasted things, which are the sign that wine was aged in oak, like vanilla, like
Hmm.
butter notes, or like toasted bread. Yeah, there's not. There is a little bit of like toasty notes here. And then again, I would assume that it spent some time in oak. What
Mm-hmm.
else? Red fruits, definitely. As I mentioned, blackcurrant, cherry plum. Not so much herbs, I don't think so. No citrus. Some earthy aromas, yeah, sure. Like leather, like, wet ground or wet wood, maybe.
Hmm.
Smokiness, like imagine you make a fire and yeah. So it really helps. It helps me, I don't know. When you just have in mind this aroma wheel and think about different types of different groups of aromas, it really helps.
Yeah.
So I would definitely give this wine like maybe 8 out of 10.
Can you hold it up to the camera, the label?
Called Montes Alfa.
Hmm. Interesting. From Chile, right?
Yeah, from Chile with pride, it says.
Have you been to Chile?
No, I really want to go there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I miss Europe so much. So every year since I moved to this, I go to Europe.
Oh, you miss Europe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I miss Europe. But I'm also very curious about South America. Really want to go to Argentina. Really want to go to Chile. Even in Mexico, actually, in Mexico, I tried very nice wines. There are not so many,
oh,
but recently I tried one of the only, I would say, great wine I ever tried from Mexico. Natural wine from Beachy Winery. Um,
what's it called? Can you spell it?
Beachy. I think it's called like Bichi or without H.
Oh,
Beachy. It's a natural wine, like it's small winery, and they make very like um, funky natural wine.
hmm. Well, natural wine ends up being whatever it wants to be. It's harder to control, right?
What is it?
So natural wine's kind of harder to control, so you don't really know what
Yeah,
you're gonna
color. That's
get.
why that's why sometimes it's over funky. Yeah, they don't use sulfates. They're not trying to control it. Right, absolutely. They're trying to do as less as possible. The wine, the grapes, they don't use any pesticides, chemicals. In this way, it's hard work, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, they trust a lot.
Yeah, and like you basically never know what's going to happen with your harvest and with your wine. Um, it's kind of risky.
Yeah.
It's risky, but there are many natural wines that are they're beautiful, and I love the style. It's very different from classic traditional winemaking. But I do enjoy. Maybe there are some wine people in the industry, at least in my country, in Russia, where I think organic or sustainable, like natural wine, is a new thing. There's a lot of resistance, um, but I just don't understand. Like, uh, it's just different. Like, don't compare it with classic wines, traditional wines.
Yeah. It's just another option to try.
Yeah, it tastes different. Sometimes it doesn't taste different. Sometimes it tastes the same.
Mm-hmm.
Way wine. Um, in most of the cases, it does have some particular flavors, and you feel this like wildness and um, life in this wine.
Mm-hmm. Just curious, the what are the grape varieties that you find in Mexico? What what grows out there, or at least the ones that you tried? What were they?
Hmm, good question.
Well, I mean, to me, when I go to, I mean, I haven't been all over Mexico, but if it's not too far south, it does remind me of California. So I don't know. I just imagine Chardonnay and
I'm sure they grow European grape varieties for sure.
mhm. And I also didn't even know that Mexico made. I mean, there was wine production in Mexico. Like
Yes, yes,
really.
much. And I've been to Mexico once, and what surprised me that their wine, at least the wine they had in restaurants, it was pretty expensive, and quality was. And then I talked to about that, and there's a lot of limitations, like legal limitations, and also
Oh,
they're trying to keep the price tag high, so local people don't really drink a lot. I guess maybe it's not true.
I don't
Hmm.
know. It's probably a different culture too. I mean, the wine drinkers, the Mexican people that I know that were born in Mexico and they're here, when they drink wine, or when they drink in general, they drink a lot. Like they don't drink like, oh, let me taste. They're like drinking, and then because of that, they don't really care for like really expensive fancy wine. And then what I also noticed too is like they like the really sweet wine, like Moscato and things like that are not really, you know what I mean? Like I think Americans, if they drink it a Moscato, they'll sip it because it's like too much for them. But then when I see, like, if I go to a Mexican party and they're drinking it, it's more like party time, like, oh, my juice, like get my cocktail, and it's very sweet wine. So
Mhm.
I don't
I think it
know.
also has to do with wine culture. Maybe it's still developing, and people who are just like moving towards wine, they tend to like sweet wines.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out what are the grapes in that wine I tried.
Where did you go in Mexico? Do you know the region or like the state?
I just went to what is this? Where is the place where everyone goes?
Oh, is it like like Playa de Carmen or Cancun?
Yeah, yeah, Cancun.
Okay.
I really want to go to Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah, you should go. If you go, I'll go. Nothing's coming up.
Hmm.
Is it like a no one
Yeah,
searches
well,
that?
I'm thinking it's very similar. Actually, I thought about Chile as well because recently I also tried some good stuff from Chile. A grape called Pais. It's indigenous and it's very old. So they call it mission grape. That like the grape which was brought from Europe by monks like long, long time ago.
Hmm.
That's why they call it mission grape, which came with like religion mission. You understand? It's called Pais, and in Chile, for a long time um, they didn't really. It wasn't very popular, and it was usually used in blends. And just
Usually used
recently,
in what? In blend.
blends,
Oh, in
blend,
blend. Hmm.
yeah, part of a blend, and it was sort of rediscovered there, and it is giving really great results. I met a winemaker. His name is Louis Antoine Lut. He's French from Burgundy, and I don't know, like he was traveling and moved to Chile uh, for some time in restaurants, and then realized that there is no like wine is kind of like low quality, and he get back to France and learn how to make wine. Worked for several wineries and got back to Chile and opened his own
Hmm.
winery. And now he's working with many different farmers, helping them, consulting them, and how to make wine. Um, and the result is really great. One of his project is called Pipenio.
Nathaniel? Uh-huh.
Yeah, Pipenio. Yeah, you can read about it on my Instagram.
Oh, cool.
It's the same name, Forwinesake. Um, you also get a picture.
Oh, uh-huh. Nathaniel.
Mhm.
So that's the French guy's wine project in Chile?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, and also I think it's there is mm, this Pais grape, the same grape is used in Mexico as well.
Hmm.
Then they have Moscatel Negro. Maybe you were talking about this one. Then they have Tempranillo,
Uh-huh.
um, which is Spanish basically grape variety. So they have like this winery, Beachy Winery. They have several different wines, and like one is made from Moscatel Negro, another one, yeah, made from Listan Preto.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is made. They don't know what's the grape. The grape was remain unidentified. About that, mm, think that grape wasn't identified. I recently went to Portuguese wine tasting, and I also visited Portugal last summer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was a winemaker, named Sandra Tavares da Silva. So she's a winemaker, young winemaker from Douro Valley in northern Portugal. And I visited one of her wineries because she also works for her parents' winery in Lisbon area, which is close to Lisbon. And of course, when I saw that she's going to be at this wine tasting, I definitely wanted to meet her and talk. And I try her wines, and I'm like, "What is this wine? What are the grape varieties?" And she goes like, "Oh, I don't know. There are like 40 different grape varieties." I'm like, what? What do you mean?
Did she make the wine? Is it her wine?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The thing is that somehow in Portugal there are a lot of vineyards where they would plant grapes like whatever, and then they would maybe
Oh.
change with time, and then you would never guess what's the grape variety. Even like they're still trying to identify. They're doing a lot of analysis at the labs, when the chemical analysis, trying to um, I don't know, think
Figure
what's
it
the grape.
out.
Yeah.
But does that mean that in their country they don't have the DOP and the you
No, no,
know
no. They
how
do. They do. They do. They have. I don't remember particularly about this winery, but they also have um, hello wine, which is like a single grape variety and
oh
made from. They also have popular or specific to certain region wine grapes that you use in their wine. So it was just, in this case, I was very surprised, and she was not the one producer. There were others who
hmm.
would know like what are the grapes, or they would maybe identify some major grapes.
Sorry, what was that last part again?
They would identify some major grapes in wine, but they wouldn't be able to know every
Oh.
grape.
Hmm. You seem very casual over there. Maybe.
I wouldn't say. I
No?
had the impression. I mean, I thought so after living in Italy, and uh, some people have this perception. I think
Hmm.
um, that Mediterranean people are kind of like laid back, and you know, it's not true in parts about Portugal. They don't even have fiesta, or fiesta, whatever.
Siesta,
They're very
yeah.
hardworking people. I mean, I'm not saying Italians or Spanish are not hardworking. It's just, I think it goes with the lifestyle and no,
I
maybe this quality system like DOP system is less strict than in France, for example.
Hmm.
Uh, but Portugal was one of the first countries that started using this system. So,
Oh, really? Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't mind that system. I understand why they have it. Um, like it's good for food tourism. Obviously, the government gets taxes from people, using those labels, but I'm not sure that regular drinkers always care. Like if you're not a tourist and you're just drinking every day, like maybe you don't care, and it's as long as you like it and it's a blend and you're just no big deal.
I think it's on the one hand, it's a sign of quality, and let's say, for example, this bottle has some. It says Dio Colchagua Valley. So I have no idea where Colchagua Valley is, but I would assume that it's a pretty small place. And to me, the smaller the place, the better. If it's written on the bottle like the wine of France,
Mm.
it doesn't say where it is from, what part of France it comes from. Whereas this bottle says exactly the place where it comes from. To me, it's a good sign.
Hmm.
But you remember that winery visited in Italy, in Veneto, I think it was. I just
Mm.
came from consortium, and because he basically lost this right to use UCG, uh,
Oh,
even
the labeling.
his labels. And because he was one of the pioneers, it took him some time to prove and convince people to stay loyal and trust and um, buy his wines. What he did, he traveled all over with clients, telling them that nothing's going to change. You just set up with all these rules, but the quality is going to be even better.
Hmm.
Um, so in some cases, and actually, there's I think there's even movement that some people, a lot of winemakers withdraw from this system and don't use it.
I mean, for me, looking on the outside, I understand why they have the system, and I think it's good in some ways. Like when they are really good at
Yeah.
maintaining the quality or integrity of the region or a grape, I think it's great. But I don't like that people, like consumers, get lazy and like, oh, I only want to drink things with this label, because there could be other good wines, without it. So, and also it's
Yeah,
expensive for the producer to meet those standards.
yeah, they have to pay for that. I know. Um, Another thing is that yes, there are some established rules, but sometimes wine people, like winemakers, they are artsy people. They like to experiment. And for example, they want to use another grape uh, in this wine, but they can't because they will lose this right to use DOC or DOCG on their label.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it just
so
seems a little
not the
artificial.
most important thing, basically. Don't be this person who come to wine store and say, "Oh, I drink only DOCG." Like that. So be more adventurous.
Yeah, I know. I think the new markets like Australia, the US, or young drinkers in the US, they might be more adventurous, you know. If they go to like France and there's like a winery that has like something dumb, like, oh, cool shirts. Okay, sure, yeah, I'll go there. I mean, young Americans, they're not like snobs.
Mm, I wouldn't generalize. For example, France is one of the first countries, or maybe even the first, not the first, one of the first countries mm, that started supporting this idea of natural winemaking.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of wine here that comes like high quality. natural wine comes from France. They're not snobs at all. Not everyone.
Okay, not all. Well, actually, too, in
I
Italy.
also did a little research. It was a field research, so I went to. I would basically ask people around me. Like I used to live in a tall building, and somebody comes to the elevator. I would give a little elevator speech. I would ask this person a few questions.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, of course, at the beginning that I'm a wine person and I'm just doing this questionnaire, like my markets and research, blah blah. And I would, while we were at the elevator, I would ask them what kind of wine they drink, like just to know like what are their preferences, where do they buy wine. And people are actually very happy to share their preferences. And some people, I was very surprised. Like one woman, she told me, "Oh, I drink only Chardonnay." I'm like, okay, where do you buy Chardonnay? Like, I go to this store around the corner. Like, do you buy like just one Chardonnay, like the whole, I don't know, key of Chardonnay of one producer? Uh, and she's like, no, don't one producer, but just Chardonnay. I drink only Chardonnay,
Oh, any Chardonnay.
any Chardonnay. But still,
That sounds like someone from
why
California.
would you limit yourself? I mean,
That's how I know a lot of people like that. Like they drink one type of wine, that's it, and they're like, "Oh, this is my favorite." And I'm like, "Have you tried anything else?" I already know I like this one. I'm like, okay,
I mean, you can blame them if this is what they like.
yeah. But you also too, your sample, you're doing that in where you live now, Manhattan.
Yeah, I mean, I moved to a walk up, so I don't really have this privilege to talk to
Oh,
people in the elevator anymore. And also, I kind of done my research, so just try to figure out what are the uh, like habits people have. And so basically, people don't like to go anywhere. They like to buy their wine next door.
oh, I see, I
Yeah,
see.
they have pretty established taste. Um, so they charging something. I drink only French wine. Um, uh, yeah. What else?
But
Mm,
were they
oh,
older? What was the age group?
different age, like younger people and older people.
Hmm.
But in general, again. But I think I only asked over maybe about like 100 people.
Oh,
Uh, not so much, not so many. I think it's not really enough for to make a conclusion that
hmm.
Americans are um, how they call you Americans are like strict wine drinkers or um, no, not really.
Hmm. So you, what was your survey for? Are you doing any research projects?
No, that I was doing just for myself, so I was just curious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just nerdy, curious about wine.
Okay, at least they have the plus they have business degrees, so I'm always paying attention to wine business in terms of like marketing or brand management point of view, like commercial point of view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was wondering that too. Like, I'm not really a drinker, but I can't. I don't really know how that industry works, except that it seems very like the wine industry to me seems very to me it just seems a little old fashioned. Like you produce the wine, then you market it, then you share information, and then you have events with these people and blah 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 blah. But it doesn't seem like there's a lot of innovation, not with the producers but the industry itself. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of like cool new ideas coming out. It just kind of seems like more of the same. So I always wondered, like, if you're going to work in the wine industry, like what part, like what would be exciting about that, you know? Because it's not just drinking wine all day. Like if you're not making the wine, what would you what would be like the most creative or like the best position in that industry?
Hmm. You mean there's not so much going on in terms of marketing, unless we're talking about wine production, there is nothing interesting. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, like if you're going to be a professional in that industry, like what would you be passionate about? Like I can understand someone being passionate about wine, but if you have to work in that industry, like what job or what position or yeah, what would you do that would be passionate in that industry?
I'm passionate about the product, so for me, I figure out that product is very important to me. I would rather work with wine than with well, say like petrol. I mean, where manufacturing industry. I used to work
Yeah.
in oil, so basically I changed one liquid to another, and I prefer working with wine definitely because I learn every day about it, and I would if I am critical to myself, if I am be critical to myself, I would say that I'm really mature wine drinker because there are so many wines I want to taste and so many things when I learn about wine, so many regions that I have no idea about. So it's just constant development, constant learning. Also, mm, I think in wine, people who work in wine, they tried many different hats. Like if you work in wine, you probably did some sales, you probably worked in a store, probably wrote something about wine, you probably teach a class, taught a class, probably if you worked in restaurants as sommelier, maybe you worked in trade or importer, distributor. Um, I did pretty much all of it. Like right now, I'm writing about wine and helping like um, growing business, growing brands to get more exposure um, through creative writing, let's say imagery. Um, but I also had, for example, wine clubs. I did some wine education. I don't really do wine classes these days, but if I have a chance, I always do.
Hmm.
Um, so what else? I did. I worked in sales. I worked for an importer. I did some PR as well. I also did some like business consulting for wineries back in Italy. Um, so it's just variety of different roles you um, work.
Which one do you like the best?
I'm pretty enjoy doing what I'm doing now, and I know that probably I don't really want to work in restaurants. Um, yeah. In the future, I mean, I don't really want to limit myself into wine, but because wine also goes with as well with food. I know you mentioned you're a food person and wine person, but also food person in a way. And um, as I as I said, I have a business degree, so I would probably in the future try working in for maybe even for a food brand,
Hmm.
uh, where winery we'll see, where any other beverage, um, like even though I'm doing more writing, like a journalist these days, a blogger, I think I wanna grow in marketing field more. And then whether it's gonna be wine or food, doesn't really matter.
Hmm. In the U.S. or somewhere else?
Mm, I don't really have any plan to leave. Yes, right now. So.
Yeah, welcome. It's like this or Russia right now, right?
What?
I said, would it be this or Russia? Are those your two options right now?
Not necessarily. I mean, can be any other country. Why not?
Hmm.
You know, um, I think now it's the right time to be here.
Hmm. Yeah, and also too, you're in New York, so that's also a
Yeah,
good,
yeah, sure. Everything.
Or you can also try California because it's different food industry.
Yeah, there is more wine there as well. Um, Maybe
Or
I don't know.
have you been to Oregon yet?
No, another place that
Oh, you will really like it. I think it's like it's just I mean, they have wine and they have food, but also just the state. It feels very clean. The air is clean. There's lots of trees. It gets cold, and also the summers are nice. It's like urban and very pure at the same time. I wouldn't live there. It's too slow for me, but
too
it's a nice
slow.
place. Yeah, it's too slow. And also too, it's not really like multicultural. So, I like to eat ethnic food. It would They have some, but it's not like the same.
You say it's monocultural or multicultural?
It's not really multicultural.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which is okay to visit, but not to live for me. But I mean, for you, it's cultural because you're not American. So just
Yeah, I really enjoy traveling around the US, and I'm gonna travel more
Hawaii.
next year because I decided that
No, no,
okay,
no.
I love Europe.
I said Hawaii.
Hawaii, of course. Yes, you're in Hawaii. Nice to
Yeah.
visit you.
Yeah, I try to get everyone out here. But yeah, you should definitely go to Oregon. And I think also Texas, Austin, Texas. People say there's like a lot going on there. But I've never been to Austin.
Yeah, me too. But I heard it's a beautiful little town and one of the food capitals.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what I heard. But it's so close to like Mexico and also I don't know, I keep thinking of it as like have you ever had Tex-Mex food?
Sounds familiar. What is it? Can you remind me?
Tex-Mex is like it's like the marriage between Mexican food and Texas style the way they eat. So a lot of meat, just a lot of meat and spices and like heavy food, like really heavy grilled.
Like barbecue? All barbecue.
Yeah. Hmm. So it's not my favorite, but I'm sure they have other things besides that.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I really want to go something. Last year we did a road trip. So wanted to go to Charleston, but because of the hurricane, we had to change the itinerary. So we went to Asheville. So we flew to Charlotte, then rented a car and drove to Asheville. Not Asheville, Asheville, a very little town. Very nice, and food scene is amazing.
Oh,
Um, Kind of like artsy, foodie place, very nice. And then also there's a huge national park over there.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Very beautiful, amazing, a huge park. I even found a winery there. I forgot the name. It was, I think it's North Carolina. Um, I was very surprised. I mean, there were very few wineries there, but I still was curious and went there. And it turned out it's the second generation of Italians, or even first one who moved there. And because it looked to me very much alike to, this agritourism concept
Yeah.
in Italy. So they built like a castle with a very nice terrace, and it was like mirrored um, with a little, not that little even, garden and
Oh.
fantastic tasting room and knowledgeable people who work there. Yeah, it was pretty nice.
Oh,
Wine was
nice.
okay. Wine was okay, but in terms of business idea, uh, it was crowded there. It was basically in the middle of nowhere. It was very crowded. A lot of people. It was a weekend, okay, but still.
Yeah, still for a winery in North Carolina. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Then we went to Atlanta for a little bit, and then Nashville.
Oh,
Um, Love Nashville. Food is great there as well. And then we finished our trip in Kentucky.
wow. I can't
Louis,
imagine you.
Louisville.
I,
Where was it? Yeah, Louisville.
Louisville? I can't imagine you in those areas. You don't even like the first time I saw you wear jeans, I was like, what are you doing? I always see you as like very fancy, elegant fur
No,
coats and
actually, this town, Louisville, um, it's very similar to the city where I'm from.
okay.
I'm not from Moscow. I'm from a city called Samara, which is like 1 hour flight from Moscow. It's not that small. I mean, it's about like 3.5 million people living there. But it was very similar, like city center, very similar. They also had a river and there was a bridge. So like, oh, this is sister town, definitely.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, those parts of the United States I've never been, and they're so different. They're different. Yeah, like you can see, you drive and you see billboards with. Um, it was election time, and so they were like full of, oh, buy your guns before Hillary becomes president.
Yeah, I think actually out here it's also like a gun state. So I was driving the other day near my neighborhood and there was like a poster and it was a woman holding her baby and then holding a gun or something. And they were like, yeah, practice, protect your family. And I was like, what? I'm not
That's
it's
ridiculous.
just on the regular poster on the street, just when I'm driving.
The huge billboards, like all everywhere, like they sell, for example, company sells bags, and they advertise that, oh, here's a little pocket in your bag. Oh, the gun, get the bag, get the gun. Before Hillary becomes president. Like, that's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
so weird. I never see that stuff unless like I'm watching YouTube videos and then the advertisings are for everyone, not just people from California or whatever. So there's a new one where there's a lady and she's like, yeah, get this app for when you go hunting so you know that you're not shooting like people's dogs and you're not in people's backyards. And I'm like, I don't even know anybody who goes hunting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I wish this issue, like gun issue, was solved a long time ago here. It's just ridiculous. I don't understand. Like, I particularly like, live in a pretty safe area, but just the fact knowing that it's allowed in general to have a gun just, you know, makes me worry.
In Russia, are you allowed? Are regular citizens allowed to have
If
guns?
you have a license, but you have to like take a test, and so it's not easy. You can buy it in Walmart. And
Oh, I see. Okay, so
you really
it's
have to have a license, proper license, pretty much like driving license. Even harder to get than driver license.
mm-hmm.
And people don't carry it. I mean, on the streets. So, no, there's some people who live in the middle of nowhere and they feel unsafe if they don't have anything. Like imagine you're in a huge house and then suddenly somebody comes and like you don't know how to protect yourself. Yes, okay, but it just the gun control has to be more strict. It's not like everyone is allowed to get a gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look at this mass shootings. Like most of the people, in most of the cases, they use or I don't know, Kalashnikov, whatever, like the gun that which can kill many people at once. If you carry a revolver with like 6 bullets, why do you have
Mm-hmm.
a rifle or I don't know how it's called.
The
So the
handgun.
many different, which has like 100 maybe bullets, so you can kill
Oh,
a lot of people
yeah.
at
I think
once.
machine gun. Yeah.
Yeah, machine gun. Why? Why are you allowed to have machine guns for
I think
protection?
we're. I think we're
How
not
you
allowed to have that, but we're allowed to have semi-automatic, which is still pretty fast. There's like I don't know. I don't really know.
yeah, a big lobby here of um, like a women lobby in the states. I don't know how soon and how exactly. Maybe not in this, not for the next 4 years for sure. 3 years.
Yeah.
No
I never.
flies.
Yeah, time does fly. It's not that fast though, right? It's just started. I was gonna say that I never really thought about gun laws or anything like that, but I remember I lived in a country that didn't have guns. Like in Japan, you can't have guns, and even like a lot of drugs that, like even marijuana, is a big deal over there. Like they're very strict on crime, but it was really weird because there was a lot of violence in that country, and the violence was because they don't have guns. The violence was crazy. Like someone will go to like the most busy intersection in a big city and run everyone over with cars. So I was like, oh, and then like there's like weird like crimes, like if you're a girl and you live alone, then they climb onto your balcony and they steal your underwear. Like just really weird things. So I think like I don't know, I never thought of it as like, oh, violence is a gun thing. I just thought like, yeah, if someone wants to kill people, they would kill them. They'll find hammers or whatever they want. Like there's crazy people everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about that it has to be banned 100%. Of course not. I'm against any extreme, but it just has to be more controlled. Not
Yeah.
not every crazy person can get it easily.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway,
Back to
how do you
wine.
yeah, I have like a billion questions. Is there anything you wanted me to bring up? Like I think we talked about a lot of stuff already. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else?
I don't know. Maybe I could talk a little bit about wine trends. What are the
Oh
trends?
yeah. Is anything happening? I feel like it's last time I checked in Italy it was like biodiversity and all of that, but I haven't heard anything since then. I'm not really following a lot of the bloggers though. So what are some of the latest trends?
So I think trends are different for the industry. So if we talk about industry in general, or if we talk about, I don't know, like average wine drinkers, or we talk about professional wine people. So I'm trying to systemize, but I would say that one of the major trend is the growth of online trade,
Hmm.
especially like um, among like not only small retailers but also large retailers like Amazon. They shut down their online wine sales recently, I think.
Oh.
They're gonna launch it again, and I think it's gonna be just massive. And most of the like smaller wine retailers gonna have big problems because basically Amazon has a retailer license in every state, so for them it's going to be very easy. Um, Whereas, like, if you are a small retail store, or maybe even if you are like medium-sized online retail wine store, um, you probably don't have this privilege. You can't sell wine to every, you can deliver wine to every state. You're kind of limited in terms of number of states you can work with. Some states they have government regulation, government regulated wine industry, and they don't allow out of state retailers to work in their state.
Mm-hmm.
So the huge chance. Um, what else? I think I want to. Yeah, remember I mentioned this.
Mm-hmm.
Think Bigfoot. So I recently met one of the founders of this company, an Italian company. He came to New York, and just some of my friends they knew that I'm like they know that I work in wine, and they told him that he has to talk to me. But that's not the point. The point is that this idea is. I found this idea really interesting. What they do is they It's a sort of like an e-commerce product.
Okay.
Or on the right way. It's not really e-commerce. It's more like a platform where like IT product. Let's call it IT product. The idea is that they work with big retailers. If you think of Costco or Tesco in UK or Esselunga in Italy,
Mm-hmm.
those are ideal customers for them. So if you buy online, for example, if you buy wine online, um, they developed a customized product for every retailer to help consumers buy wine um, an easier and fun way. For
Mm.
example, you buy food online, and of course, you want to pair it with wine. You want it to be delivered together. They would ask you several questions, like, "What are you cooking tonight?" Well, what kind of wine you like? And they divided wine into different characters. Um, so the person has to
Sorry, I think you're cutting out. Or you say that part again?
yeah. So when you choose wine online, you have to go through a little questionnaire, answer a few questions basically. So the system would help you to understand what kind of wine drinker you are, what kind of wine you like. Questions can be like, what do you prefer to eat in the morning? Would you like to have a cup of coffee, or want to have a smoothie, a yogurt, cereal, or something like that? Um, what else?
Do you drink wine with the cereal?
No, just in general, they're trying to understand your tastes, in
Mm-hmm.
food, or what's your price range and everything. And then 5 to 7 questions, I remember how many. So they give you the result, and it's usually like a character, wine character, what wine character you are.
Oh.
I did this test, I was outgoing. Somebody texted me on Instagram, so the guy tried this, he did this test, and he was exotic
Mm.
or eccentric, or sage. So just fun names,
Mm-hmm.
so people get less intimidated by the wine.
Yeah.
And then they offer you, after you complete this question, they offer you several wines according to your price range and to your taste. It's much easier, becomes easier to choose wine for you, and uh, to make a choice is easier for you, faster. Imagine yourself like standing in front of a huge shelf of wine and not knowing like what kind of wine you want. A
Yeah,
lot of
I did
people have this problem.
I did that a whole year. And I wasn't buying wine for myself. I was buying wine for like groups of people. And
Mhm.
so for me, I wouldn't want the profile, but if my friends had taken the profile and then shared it with me, it would have made my life easier because asking people what they like and what they drink is like a big headache. Like they don't know. Like seriously, like they don't even know themselves. So like buying wine, I like to buy wine for people because I think it's like a good gift, but I really hate guessing, Like
Mhm.
I feel like people should have they have like, Instagram accounts and Facebook accounts, but if
Mhm.
they like publicize like these little things, it'd just be easier to buy them gifts and to have dinner parties and stuff.
I agree with you. If you have to buy for somebody else, you don't know what this person prefers. But if you buy it yourself, you probably know yourself better. And those questions, believe me, I don't exactly remember what are the questions, but they're very easy, and it really makes sense. They won't give you a specific character. Maybe the character may change from time to time. You can also
Uh,
different parameters. Say today I want to get wine up to $50, or uh, up to 20, or today I'm cooking steak, or today I'm eating salad. And of course, you get different wine versus
mhm.
every time, or you want to celebrate something maybe. So they also ask you these kind of questions. And then, so basically, for every retail chain, they would make this company. They would make a customized application, let's call it, or it's not really application. There is application too, but this is more like a product integrated to the online system, e-commerce system of this particular retailer. Um, and results are really great. So everyone is very
Hmm.
happy. Wine sales grow, and they're trying to expand in other countries, and hopefully soon they will be in yes. It's not like there's something new about this idea. There are many wine clubs or applications that ask you to answer questions, and they will help you to choose wine. But this is the first time I came across with this idea, which works not for B2C, not for customers, not for like ordinary people like me, but for retailers. And
Hmm.
to me it makes so much sense from like commercial point of view. Um, if you're a wine expert, somebody told me, "Oh, this is great, but maybe focus more on millennials, like young people." I actually disagree. Maybe, of course, there is certain limit. Like you go to a store, for example, and if you are older, like older people, um, not all of them like use internet or applications, something like
Hmm.
that, or buy online in general. Maybe there's a limitation, but online sales growing. I think the future is bright for the company as well. Maybe this approach wouldn't work with um, professional wine people because they just don't really go to like Costco or whatever.
Hmm.
Maybe they do. Sometimes they do.
Yeah.
Sometimes
It,
they also can afford to buy wine like in a little wine store that specializes exclusively on Cuban deal and um, can afford to buy this like high end premier cruise, etc. Um, so maybe they won't need it. But I was curious myself, like just to understand what's my character, and I would be curious to go to any store that has this application, see my options. So you still have a choice. And I also like that I'm doing the choice. Not like I order, I'm a part of a wine club, and
yeah.
uh, Master of Wine or Master Sommelier makes like a collection of 3 or 6 or 12 different wines that he likes or she likes and send it to me.
Yeah. I think a lot of people didn't like that part.
Yeah. So I like this idea, and another good thing about this company is that
What's the name of the company again?
it's called Vinhood.
Oh, the Vinhood.
Like,
Okay. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. Uh, so the IT, like digital thing, is supported by offline as well. So they do a lot of events where they can promote producers and promote their brand as well. So more people use applications.
Oh, so
People know
is
about
that
them.
that company is it based in New York, like the physical, the
You know,
offline?
end,
Uh-huh. Okay.
I really wish and they did this they opened like 13 months ago or something. I wish they
Oh,
when we were in Italy.
yeah. Hmm.
I'm trying to put them in touch with our school because I think it's a great startup. It's a great idea, and it's gonna work for sure.
Yeah, probably. It sounds like it. It's really hard to get Italians to do anything online, so if they got them to even sign up for an application, it's already a good sign.
No, behind the company are people with huge corporate experience,
Uh,
but they're professional consultant experience.
hmm. Let's go back real quick to the Amazon thing because I don't know, because I know that Amazon, it's not new. I don't think it's new, but they have this partnership thing that you can do where individual people they can sell things online. So like if I go to the store and I buy I don't know, like 50 pounds of toilet paper, technically I can also sell it and then make money from that. Like I can make a personal profile. So I was thinking that if that's the case, I forgot what it's called, but if me, just a regular person, can sell the toilet paper that I bought,
Mhm.
then can't also any retailer, any small whatever production people sell their wine on the platform and then they bypass all of the laws
The
for
same rule. If you are a New York State winemaker, you can sell your wine online through Amazon.
uh-huh. But can you sell it to a different state?
I think it's contradict the law. I mean, it depends which state.
Yeah. So then yeah, that's what my question was. I wanted to know if Amazon lets them bypass those laws, like they can sell, you know, to other states or they still have to follow the laws for the
Honestly, I don't know
restricted.
how to answer this question right now. Um, they shut down the wine sales in general, or they're going to do it soon and they're going to relaunch it next
Oh,
year.
oh, next
So
year.
I don't know a lot of things, which are pretty major, but I actually thought that they were unsuccessful, but then read somewhere that they're going to relaunch it, and I think
Hmm.
we're going to, work on the mistakes maybe. So far, if I checked the Amazon a few weeks ago, and I was curious what kind of wine they have. Um, to me, not so good wines, kind
Hmm.
of cheap wines, like mass market wines.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. But it's Amazon. Last year, nobody knew that um, they're going to acquire Whole Foods. So, Whole Foods,
I knew that. Yeah, I think I knew it because I lived in Silicon Valley, so we know like we see the changes like in front of our faces, you know? But yeah, a lot of people didn't know that. And also too, they started making like physical stores, like bookstores. Well, at least in San Jose, Amazon was they bought or they partnered with Whole Foods, and then they were going to make physical bookstores like an experience. But then yeah, no one else knew about it. Like they don't, and I didn't know about the wine thing. I didn't know. I didn't even check Amazon for wine when I was looking for wine.
yeah, me
The whole
neither.
time. So
Uh,
yeah, they don't really talk about their projects.
so I think the wine scene is going to change a little next few years, and actually it's changing like rapidly. What else? In terms of packaging, maybe and labeling, I see sometimes I see really nice wine in box, so it's not only like fancy.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
There's some really good wines in box. You may not know like producers, but if you ask in a retail store, some like knowledgeable person, they will tell you, oh, this wine is like made by this producer who's like small winery or somewhere. Um,
Hmm.
why not? I mean, if it's a young wine and doesn't need to be aged in the bottle, and it's just simple good wine, why don't sell it in box?
Well, they
Um,
used to sell them in boxes. I mean, in the U.S., like I remember when I was little, my parents had a lot of box wine, but it was considered really cheap wine. Like it was like a joke, like oh, boxed wine is
I
it's
know. I
not.
mean, sometimes it's difficult. It's still difficult to convince consumer that box wine is not shitty wine, but I'm
I mean,
saying
but
that
is it okay? Like, I mean, is it okay to put a good wine in a box?
this is what I'm saying. If it's a young, the wine that meant to be drank young, why not?
Okay,
The
okay.
wine that do not expect to develop itself into something bigger and more complex. Just normal wine, simple normal wine. You wanna like table wine, let's say.
Okay. Okay.
Why not? Um, there will be no fanciness effects, like that you have a nice boil with a cork in it. But okay, there are different wines
Hmm.
that I made. for this purpose. Sometimes, box wine can be even better than bottled wine. Some bottled
Hmm.
wine. Yeah. Also, recently, I in a store next door, I saw a wine in I saw wine in plastic bottle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like plastic bottle. The bottle was like this, but made of plastic, so you could, squeeze it.
Yeah. But wouldn't that
Um,
affect the taste a little? Because plastic has a taste. Like if the bottle gets too warm.
it was the bottle was dark, which is good for wine, so you can
Okay.
pour it and without um, and not be afraid sunlight. But maybe it's a certain type of plastic that doesn't change it.
Hmm.
And they claim
Okay.
they have like sustainable winery as well. If you, I think it was Australians. They also people are really tend to experiment with everything and some cool things like the screw cup or I don't know where the glass cork came from. It also
Oh,
comes.
glass cork?
Yeah.
Sounds dangerous. Okay. How do you get it out?
Yeah. It's pretty. It looks pretty nice, and actually, this cork disease that
Uh,
kind of like spoils your wine. Sometimes I rarely
oh,
get the bottle with like um, when the wine like turned bad because of the cork disease. Uh,
oh.
but sometimes it happens. So if you have a cork made of glass, it never happens.
How do you take it out?
Just take it out. It has a little
Oh.
cup of this to fix it.
Oh, okay, okay.
You don't need bottle opener for that.
Oh, nice. So you just
Yeah,
hmm.
I
Actually,
had
that's
one.
kind of a nice.
It's pretty convenient.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't think it's cheaper than cork. Like
Yeah.
cork. Like real cork is expensive, and um, the possibility that the wine is gonna get turned bad is very high.
With
Um,
with, with a
the
with a
real
glass
cork,
cork.
with the real cork, and with the glass,
Oh,
you just don't have this problem.
oh. Mhm.
What else? Labels. Yeah, I think we're gonna see more. Like cool typography, cool artsy labels. People still buy wine depending on how they like the label. Um, that's true. I mean, and also I think there's more like storytelling in labels, so you can kind of learn more about the winery or this particular wine. And winemakers are trying to be more transparent. Um, so you'll have more information and more like storytelling on the labels.
Mhm.
What else? Grape varieties. Again, wine people probably look into very particular regions or like very particular grape varieties, like indigenous, not known,
Mhm.
some unknown strange grape varieties. I usually, when I come to wine store, I'm like, can you get something just bizarre, like some unknown grape variety that nobody heard of? Sometimes I do that,
Mhm.
or I follow some wine bloggers that whose opinion I really respect, and I see what they're drinking, not necessarily brand, but just the grapes or like wine style. Sometimes I go to wine store and ask specifically for like a certain grape variety, or if I'm learning about a certain region, I'm trying to get something simple, like maybe simple grape varieties, not blends, so I can kind of distinguish this and have this taste profile of this grape that I don't know.
Mhm.
Um, but in general, I see a lot of Albarino. We talk about white wine, a lot of Albarino. So people not only drink these days not only Pinot Grigio and Sauvignon Blanc,
Yeah.
but also like Albarino. Um, What else? Breads, Carmener, Cabernet Franc. Carmener is a Chilean grape. I mean, it originally came from France,
Uh-huh.
from Bordeaux, but it's still um, used in Bordeaux and blends in like little quantities. But it rarely goes like a single grape variety,
Hmm.
100% Carmener. It's usually common in Chile.
Hmm.
So what else? Cabernet Franc, which is also like French grape variety.
Cabernet
There's a Cabernet Franc.
Franc. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Here, actually, in New York State, they make really good wine from Cabernet Franc.
Hmm.
Also in California.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen it. What does it taste like? What is it similar to?
Cabernet Franc. I think it's softer than Cabernet Sauvignon.
Hmm.
It's a little lighter. Yeah, but also very interesting grape.
By the way, you said you go to wine shops. What wine shops? Well, just like what two wine shops do you go to in New York?
As many of us, I go to, I just moved to this neighborhood, so I tried to figure out what's going to be my wine store. And I found the one I like, a small wine store, and they focus mostly on small wine producers. And I know like salespeople there, and just come there regularly, ask for advice, talk to them about wine, asking like what new things we have. Uh, that's my advice. If you want to um, learn more about wine, just find a nice store in your area. Just don't go to any because stores are very different.
Mm,
Some
yeah.
stores have like fancy wines, like expensive wines. Some stores have just mass market, like not very interesting to wines in general. Maybe they have something interesting, and they have like low qualified people working there who know nothing about wine. And there are other
Yeah.
stores that just find your store and find your wine person.
No, don't say just find a store because it's not easy.
It's
I
not
don't know.
easy. Who's easy? Just go to one, try another, and compare your wine experience.
Okay, so just how helpful it feels for you.
Yeah, and always ask people who work in the store because even though I regularly go to wine tastings and I tasted a lot of wine, but there's so many different wines. It's just impossible for me to know everything. Also, like vintage is different from year to year. But even like just producers, the number of producers is huge. I mean, how would I know that how this wine tastes? I can only guess maybe. So this person who works in the store, they 99% they tasted all their wines they have.
Hmm.
They have distributors coming to them every week, not every day, and they give them new wines to taste and choose from. So they definitely um, know the wine, and they know like they know something about wine, and they know what questions to ask you. Or if they don't ask you, they ask you like, what kind of wine you prefer, what kind of wine you like,
Yeah.
and just think about tell them your price range first, because if you're tempted toward wine which is over 30, like what's the point to uh, tell your price range, then how much you're cooking tonight, or what's the occasion you're going to celebrate, or just going to a party or the romantic dinner, and then tell what you're going to eat. The wine person understands like what's going to be like a wine pairing. For example, if you have meat, you definitely need something like um, which is wine which has like more body, like big wine. Um, if it's summertime and you're going to picnic, maybe it's better to get something like mineral and light, like white wine or light body red. Um, Going to a party, again, people drink a lot, and not to be drunk, maybe better to get something lighter, not that heavy old wine that's gonna just kill you after one glass. If you celebrate, maybe a bottle of sparkling, nice. So just give some information to the wine person, wine salesperson at store. Um, or maybe you can say, or I'm learning these days about this region or about this country. Can you recommend something? Then you see, maybe you like the bottle, or maybe this wine person tasted all this wine and said, "Oh, this one is fantastic. You should definitely try it."
Mm-hmm.
You like the label? Did I mention label? um, I don't know.
Okay.
There's no recipe, but those are basic questions. Price range, food pairing, occasion, and maybe preferences. Maybe you tell, or I love Merlot. I like Merlot a lot. Can you recommend something similar but not Merlot? Because I'm curious, I want to try something else. Or can you suggest something like completely different?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How this person what you up to?
If I'm in Manhattan, where would you send me? What wine store would you send me to?
Um, I like Flatiron wine and spirits. I like Union Square wine and spirits. I like Chambers wine and spirits. Chambers Street.
Okay.
Um, those are in main where top
Is it on
Flatiron
your
top.
is it on your blog or on your Instagram?
Like for example, if I post something on Instagram, if I post a wine, I usually tag places where I got it.
Oh, okay.
So if you follow me, you can where I got it and buy it there as well. I was planning to write a blog post about like wine shopping, and I think I have to do that do it soon. Italy, New York, looking for salad wines, pretty good choice.
Italy? They have Italy
Italy,
there?
yes, Italy, New York,
Oh,
first,
is it new?
and they have separate wine store next door, which belongs
It,
to Italy.
how long has it been there?
A long time, at least
Oh, really?
like 6 years for sure.
I didn't
I
go.
remember
I
the
wanted
time I
to
came to
go.
yes, they opened it.
Oh,
It's about 7 years.
nah, I didn't go. I want to go. Do you ever go to DePaulo's
Regularly.
for wine though?
I go for wine sometimes, but not that often. Because I usually buy a lot of food there, and I just can't carry everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a little
Also,
bit further.
especially these days, different wine clubs, and trying to figure out what's the best way for me to buy wine. And also, I wanted to save some money, of course. So I guess I have to start buying by case. Um, yeah,
How much?
you know that if you buy a case of wine, you get automatically get 10% discount
Yeah. How much wine do you drink a week?
a week. Sometimes I don't
Okay.
drink.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say it's a lot.
Sometimes I drink maybe a couple of glasses, like go to a restaurant, have a glass of wine, or go to a wine bar with a friend for a glass of wine, or just have a glass for dinner. Sometimes I don't drink at all. Sometimes I go to wine tastings and where I taste wine, I don't really drink. Sometimes most of the time I don't drink during tasting. I just taste it, and then if I'm happy, I will just have a glass of wine, the one I like the most,
Hmm. Nice.
to praise myself. Yeah.
For your hard work, yeah. Okay, cool. I think I'm good. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
You
Did you
feel
learn something?
what?
Did you learn something?
I did. I learned a lot. Oh, a lot about the not the tasting notes, but like how to analyze the wine in the glass because there's a lot of stuff I didn't know. And then the trends. I didn't know about any of the trends actually. Um, so yeah, that was interesting. It's been a while since I've talked about wine. So yeah, that's and then too, I didn't learn anything about U.S. wine, so that was helpful too. Yeah. Did you feel confident? And can I post this? It's already live. I think you
Yeah,
did great. Yeah, you know a lot of knowledge.
sometimes you can, you look different, or you talk differently. Like you think you are this way, but you are the other one, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you see something from a different point of view, where you, for example, me recording, video recording, and then watched it afterwards and you hate it.
Yeah. You should start a YouTube channel so you can just watch yourself all day while you're editing and be like, why did I say that?
Yeah, I think YouTube is it's already a big thing, and um, wine bloggers, his main channel is YouTube actually. I don't know. I guess I have to start. A lot of people just there's so much information around of us, and we just everything these days everywhere, and sometimes it's just easier to watch a short video.
Hmm. Yeah, you can even do unlimited, not unlimited like 2 hours, but you can do longer videos on Instagram too if you wanted.
Yeah, yeah, I should definitely try. But on Instagram, I think you can't change it, right? Once you,
No,
oh, you can.
On YouTube you can change it. It's just I don't know how to do it when it's live, so it just is what it is. You're unlucky today.
No, I'm happy that we finally did it,
Yeah,
one way or
I
another.
yeah, I was I did an episode on my podcast I think last week. I didn't put it up online yet, but I was just explaining how much I failed, like how bad I failed. Like I really researched and then when I actually had to do it, I was like, "Oh, I don't see any of the things that I researched." And but that's how you learn.
Yeah,
Um
also I have to go. I have this very important concert at French Embassy tonight, so which I
okay.
can't miss.
Well, this was Elena from Forwinesake. That's her blog, website, and Instagram, right?
Facebook, everything.
And Facebook, yeah. And I'll put all the
Um, Follow me everywhere. Yeah, on
yeah.
Twitter, I post sometimes articles, either my articles or I read somebody else's articles, and if I like it, I post it. Something educational, something interesting I found on the internet. Blog posts, it's usually educational articles. Sometimes I do sponsor blog posts for producers I like. Um, what else? Instagram, yeah, daily life and stories, and then sometimes wine notes, wine trends as well.
And
Um,
travel. And travel. That's
travel, yeah. Facebook. I don't know. For some reason, I found Facebook is less popular. I think Facebook. Maybe I have more Russian friends. Like I have a lot of wine people from Russia on Facebook, and that's why um, if I post something in English, it doesn't really give a lot of response. So I guess, but it exists. I mean, you can, yeah, I regularly post there my new blog posts or anything. And
and
there are also some information I post in every social media is different, pretty much.
yeah.
Sometimes it's the same, but most of the time it's different.
Also the
Um,
monthly newsletter, right?
yes. Yeah, a monthly newsletter, and just go to my website forwinesake.com and subscribe anywhere. Once a month, I send out a newsletter, and it's usually about just follow up on my articles. Usually, there is a can be, for example, an interview with a winemaker, or it can be an overview of a certain region, so you can learn something about this new region for you. Or it can be mm, restaurants reviews, um, wine bars reviews, um, can be wine recommendations, like something I particularly liked during this month. Or like this month, Christmas is coming, holidays are coming, and definitely I should write something about sparkling wines.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, so just once a month, not sending out like 100 emails, just one email,
Yeah, that's ideal.
one newsletter. Yeah, to sign up.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. Well, thanks for spending time talking. I don't know how long it's been, but my legs are numb. I don't have a desk.
Yeah, over.
um,
I think it's over than an hour, more than an hour,
yeah,
more than
probably.
an hour.
Cool. Well, I'll let
Thank,
you go.
yeah,
And
thank you for
oh,
having
you're
me.
very welcome. Yeah, hopefully we can do it again in the future when you have other things going on or if I have more questions for you. Yeah, cool. All right, I'm going to click stop broadcast. That was Elena. Bye, everyone.